Hi everybody, Lori from Sisters Tea Company today, and I am going to share with you a kiss in the kitchen. And you might wonder what that means. Kiss is keep it simple, sweetie. And that is an adage I like to live by, especially in the kitchen. So today we are going to keep it simple, sweetie, and decorate a gorgeous stacked cake. First tip I'm going to share with you is working with your buttercream. Now, I have a 16-inch Wilton piping bag here, and to keep it clean, I'm going to use this little trick. I have some plastic wrap, and I'm going to cut myself a sheet. Doesn't have to be very big. I would say probably 15 inches ought to do it, but again, don't get a ruler out because we're keeping it simple. Now, I'm going to take most of my frosting. I don't need to put it all in here because some of this is actually going to be for my cake. And this is a naked cake, so you don't see a lot of frosting here. When I make cakes at home, I don't use a lot of frosting. My husband is not a huge fan of too much frosting, so it's nice to use little tricks. So you see, I just basically wrapped it up like a little sausage there. I am going to cut the tip. Excuse me while I get my scissors. Should have had everything ready for me, huh? So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to cut that end. Now, my bag and my tip. So this is my most favorite tip in the entire world, the one I use most often. And I probably have owned at least 10 of these since I've started decorating cakes. So I don't know if you can see it here. It is a little larger than a traditional tip. And because of that, I don't need couplers and collars and rings and all of that. It just goes right into my bag. And you can see, there it is. So now I'm gonna take this beautiful little tube of frosting, insert it down in there, kind of shake it a little bit. Now my piping bag is ready to go. I'm gonna set that to the side for right now and share with you another tip that I love. So here are my cakes. Now we did a lemon blueberry cake. This month in our newsletter, we focused on blueberry recipes, and the simple blueberry lemon cake was one of those. And I'm gonna tell you something. When you decorate cakes, it's nice and it's best to have a nice flat edge. It makes the cake look finished and polished, and it gives it a more professional look. A domed cake, they don't really look that great. I'm sure they taste wonderful, but we want to have a nice clean edge on our cakes. And the best way I have found to do that is when my cake comes out of the oven, I let it sit for just a minute or two, not very long. And then I turn it over onto a baking tray that I've lined with some parchment paper. So you'll see this is actually the top of the cake on the bottom here. When I turn that out, while the cake is still very hot, I put my cake pan that I just turned the cake out of, and I set it directly on top of it, and I'll put a small can here. Now, the reason to do that is the weight and gravity is going to give me this gorgeous flat cake. I don't have to cut it, I don't have to mess with trimming anything, and most importantly, I'm not introducing crumbs into my frosting, which is, anybody who's decorated a crummy cake will know what I'm talking about. It's not fun, and you don't always end up with a finished product. So this helps eliminate that. And again, you're not wasting any of your cake either. And I personally love the texture that it gives to the cakes. So we are going to start decorating. Now, another tip. I love my kitchen gadgets, I really do, but you can have too many. Unless you have a huge house and just an unlimited amount of closet space that you have access to, you get what I mean about too many kitchen gadgets. So I have a cake turntable. It's really useful. I can put my cake on it and I can just spin it as I decorate, but really I don't have to have that. I tend just to go straight to my cake plate with my cake board, and then I can just spin it myself. I mean, let's be frank here. If you can't decorate a cake because you don't have a turntable, that's some first word problems right there. So I'm cut some pieces of parchment paper, and I'm gonna lay those out on my cake board just to keep it clean and tidy. I don't think we'll really be making much of a mess with this method, but it's always nice to have a little extra security there. So here's my cake. Now, I'm not gonna put it here. Even though it's super flat, I'm still gonna turn it over upside down, and I'm gonna center it as much as I can in the center of this cake board here. Now, I'm gonna take the rest of my frosting, and again, this is a lovely lemon cream cheese buttercream, and it is delicious. I'm gonna take my offset spatula, and I'm just gonna spread this out a little bit. You know, again, I don't love tons and tons of frosting. If you do, feel free to be very generous with this layer. Just be careful that you're not too generous, because you know, you still want your stacked cakes to have some stability. So here we go, and we're gonna go for our next layer. And I'm just peeling back that parchment paper, and again, this is the top, and I'm gonna put it straight down like that. Now we have this gorgeous cake. I wanna make sure that it's pretty level, and I'm just gonna kind of check it out, see if I have any low spots. And if I do, I'm just gonna kind of press a little bit. Now here's the fun part. So we're going to take the rest of this frosting that's in my little measuring cup here, and we're gonna put a layer on top. I mean, seriously, you can decorate this cake in under 10 minutes. And the cake is so good. It has such a nice crumb and texture to it. So, you know, we don't have to be perfect here. And again, you can see I can easily turn this cake plate however I need it to. So, there we go. And you can see, no domes. You know, we have this nice edge there. Put a little bit more on here. Now, this to me is where kind of the fun starts. So we are going to smooth this out. We don't necessarily want to see too much of the cake on top, but if you do, again, it's a naked cake, so it's okay. So here, you see where we have our edges, and when we press down, some of that icing started to peek out a little bit. So I'm just going to take my piping bag, and I'm going to fill in between the layers, not too much. Now I'm going to take my offset spatula and I'm going to spread the frosting around, and as I go around, it's going to give it that pretty naked effect. Now I'm going to go back once more, because we don't want any bare cake. We just want to have that pretty thin layer of cake. And I love using these offset spatulas. So, there we go. Now, you see I kind of have this edge around here. No worries, because here's the next trick. I'm gonna take this bag with this lovely tip that I have, and I'm gonna make rosettes. Now, rosettes are so easy to make, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. As I've taught people over the years how to do rosettes, everybody always wants to end in the middle. Don't end in the middle. You'll get the little nipple there, and it just won't be attractive. So, here's how we do a rosette. We're gonna put it down, and you just twirl, and you end on the edge. And we're just gonna do that all the way around this beautiful cake. And it just hardly takes any time at all. Now, you could do roses on the side, and if you do, I would recommend putting a little shortening into your buttercream for some stability. But the recipe for this cake, you'll find it on our website, on our blog at sistersteacompany.com. And here is our finished product. And look, now we're just gonna pull away this parchment paper, and just be a little careful. You know, with just the right wrist movements, you're gonna pull it out without pulling off any of your cake. And ta-da! A gorgeous lemon blueberry naked cake with lemon cream cheese buttercream frosting. It is a very good thing. Now, if you wanted to dress this cake up even a little bit more, you could take some fresh blueberries like these. These came out of my garden and I'm so proud of these. And you could sprinkle around on the top. Or if you're really a lemon lover, you can take some homemade lemon curd and fill between your layer and put a little on the top there. So thanks for watching our video. Hope you learned something and we'll be seeing you real soon. Bye.